पुमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here we are seeing Kapila Muni has finished explaining about the living entity's condition in this material world, rotating up and down. From the nether regions, he may go up to the Brahmaloka, and again he has to come back, and this cycle goes on and on. So after telling all these things, he has given a recommendation to his mother. What is that? Tasmat tvam sarva bhavena bhajasva parameshtinam. Therefore, my dear mother, now you should take shelter of the Lord, engage yourself in his devotional service. And then he continued to say, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Yad Brahma Darshanam. So, this devotional service to the Lord automatically gives rise to transcendental knowledge and detachment to this material world. And once a person engages in such devotional service, full of knowledge and being detached, what are his symptoms are being explained next. The exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities and is transcendental to that which is agreeable and not agreeable. So in the previous class, with a lot of examples, we heard how a devotee is transcendental to that which is agreeable and which is not agreeable. In our conditioned state, we are attached. I want to own something. I want to achieve something. Or maybe subtle attachment towards name, fame, all of these things. So when these things are there, that which counters this becomes disagreeable for that, disagreeable for us. I don't like this. And whichever is favorable for my sense gratification, yes, I like it, we go behind it. And someone is not supporting me in this direction, he becomes my enemy. So all of these agreeable, disagreeable, I like this, I don't like this, this is whatever, good, this is bad, favorable, unfavorable. So this is the platform which we go ahead in our materially contaminated state. So a devotee who has transcended this platform, in the last session, nicely many examples were given. So in the first example is that of Arjuna. Prabhupada also mentions in today's purport how Arjuna, in the beginning, he was telling the fighting in the battle of Kurukshetra was disagreeable. He was not in agreement with that. He gave so many reasons for that. I'll not fight. But once he understood that Krishna wants this fighting, it is agreeable for the Supreme Lord. Then Arjuna also agreed. Another example given was of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was nicely settled in Vrindavan. He had a place there very close. In fact, in the courtyard of Radha Damodara temple. That's the hub of the spiritual world. The place where Rupa Goswami Samadhi is there, Bhajan Kutir is there, Jiva Goswami stayed. And Prabhupada had got nice place there. And now also if you go to Vrindavan, the roses there, such good aroma, the agarbatti smell and such a good environment for practicing spiritual life. But there was the order of a spiritual master to go to the Western world and preach the message of Lord Krishna. So all the way he travelled taking such great difficulties and went and landed, and initially which was the place where Prabhupada preached, that was the Bowery Street in New York, very shabby, all hippies staying there, and some few devotees say how we have to close our nose to enter that area. Such nasty place. But still, Prabhupada took it as agreeable to push on the mission of his spiritual master. One more example given was how a mother generally, if we come in touch with or even the smell of urine, stool, we don't like it. And what if it comes in touch with our body? It becomes so displeasing for us. We don't like it. It is disagreeable. But still, the mother, out of love for her child, the child passes urine and stool on the body of the mother. Still, the mother doesn't find it disagreeable. She, out of love, she takes the burden of cleansing the child, and she is okay with it, completely okay with it, because there is love for the child. So, likewise, a devotee, a pure devotee, for him, whatever is agreeable for the Supreme Lord, yes, it's agreeable for me. Something is disagreeable for the Supreme Lord, yes, even though I don't agree with it, I reject it. This is the position of a pure devotee. Now, when we have to come to this platform, just like Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, for the service of the Lord, he can accept anything, even though it may be disagreeable to his personal interest. In fact, he is completely free from personal interest, and thus anything agreeable to the Lord is agreeable to him. In fact, these are all different ways of explaining the principle of Sharanagati, the principle of complete surrender to the Supreme Lord, to the will of the Supreme Lord. So, already many examples we have seen. Now let us try to, in today's session, understand about the principle of surrender. This is so very important for a devotee, especially for a sadhaka, a practitioner, to advance in his spiritual life. If these principles of surrender, generally some people just in their whatever words, easily it will come out, oh, I have given everything to the Lord, everything belongs to Him. But if you see their activities, everything, so many sense gratificatory activities they'll be involved in, but just word of mouth, oh, everything belongs to Him, simply they'll speak like that. And also we have seen, especially in case of devotees, those who have taken up to chanting and have started reading the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, they would have finished it. Oh, I have finished reading Bhagavad Gita, finished the Bhagavatam, every day these many rounds I am chanting. Yes, I am a fully surrendered soul. But if we see their personal activities, dealings, habits, it may not be up to the standards given. And also of, say, dedicated devotees who have left their families and come and offered themselves, dedicated their lives for the mission of the Lord. Even after coming here, can we say, okay, the day he surrendered, came here, oh, 100% surrender? No. That's the beginning of surrender. That's the first step in surrender. From there, training starts. His spiritual journey, real spiritual journey begins. That's not the end. So, now here we are speaking of pure devotees who have elevated themselves to that platform. So, their level of surrender, we need to understand. We have to aim for that. That's our target. Through all of our sadhana bhakti, through all of our practices, we need to aim for that. So, that surrender is explained by Sanatana Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilasam. Shadvida Sharanagati, 6 principles of surrender. They are Anukulyasya Sankalpaha Antikulyasya Varjanam Rakshatiti Vishvaso Gopritve Varanam Tatha Atmanikshepa Karpanye Shadvidha Sharanagatihi. Anukulyasya Sankalpaha, accepting things which are favorable for Krishna consciousness. There are so many principles, so many instructions given. And each sadhaka, each aspirant in devotional life, he'll be, every person's situation, it is unique. His guna, quality, the circumstances around which whatever he is situated in, favorable, unfavorable, so many hundreds of whatever permutations, combinations, distinctions will be there. So, understanding his own position, where does he stand, understanding the circumstances around him, the devotee, a sadhaka, needs to make this decision. What is favorable for me to progress towards Krishna? This decision of mine, this action of mine helps me go towards Krishna, then accept it. The second thing is Pratikulyasya Varjanam. This decision of mine or this action of mine takes me away from Krishna, then Varjanam, reject it. Each devotee's case will be individual and unique. So from that position, applying the principles given in the Bhagavad Gita, applying the instructions of our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, a devotee, individually he needs to make this decision. Just like the example of, say, getting married, entering into Grihastha ashram. It is not per se good or per se bad. You can't say this. Depending on the devotee's inclination, favorable or unfavorable circumstances around him, the devotee needs to make the decision, take the call. What is favorable for my spiritual advancement? What is not favorable? He needs to decide. So that is anukulyasya sankalpaha, pratikulyasya varjanam. And then third one, rakshati, rakshishyati iti vishvasaha. Rakshishyati. Krishna will surely protect me. Krishna is my protector. He will never leave my hands. We have seen in the Bhagavatam, there are many examples given. The way Krishna protected Draupadi, the way Krishna protected Gajendra, Prahlada, so many examples are there. So Krishna will definitely give protection to his surrendered devotee. So rakshishyati iti vishvasaha. A devotee has to have this faith, whatever circumstance it be, whatever problems may come. We may find it very difficult. By our own strength, we may never be able to overcome that. Just like Draupadi, what was her strength in front of Dushasana? Was such a great formidable warrior. Through her bodily strength, she couldn't protect herself. Similarly, Gajendra was put in that unfavorable condition of, like he was inside the water. And the crocodile, it was very powerful and it was in its favorable position, which is the water. So in such an whatever awkward condition, somehow Gajendra finally lost hopes. But still, Gajendra offered prayers, Draupadi offered prayers, Prahlada Maharaja offered prayers to the Supreme Lord, and the Lord protected them. So now, likewise, so this is one thing. So this Vishwasa, this confidence a devotee should have. Whatever situation it be, whoever may be the enemy, whatever uncomfortable situation I may be put into, the Lord is there for my protection. We have to have faith in Lord means we have to have faith in Lord's timings also. When to protect, how to protect, He knows better than me. Why the Lord is not, so much difficulty I am being put into, I am suffering so much. Daily I am praying to Krishna, where Krishna is not helping me. We have to have faith in Krishna's timings also. So this is the thing, rakshishyati iti vishvasaha. And then, goptritve varanam tatha. Goptritve means, he is my maintainer. I need not depend on anyone, anything in this material world. Nobody can maintain me. It is only Krishna who is maintaining me. Through the agents of it may be our parents, it may be the society, it may be my home, my relatives, my family, my bank balance, hundreds of things we may say. But my real maintainer is Krishna. And I am completely dependent on Him for maintenance. So this is Goptritve Varanam Tatha. Fourth one. And the fifth one, Atma Nikshepa. Atma Nikshepa means, this is how it is explained. My desires and my actions are not independent from the desires of the Supreme Lord. My desires and actions are not independent of the Supreme Lord. This is complete self-surrender or Atma Nikshepa. See, we desire so many things and we act in varieties of ways. All of our desires should be in line with the desire of the Supreme Lord. All of my actions should be in line with the desire of the Supreme Lord. They are not independent. This is Atma Nikshepa. The Lord's desire is something, and His desire, of course, He has explained in the form of Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam we find, and our spiritual master very vividly has explained the mind of the heart of the Supreme Lord, His desires. So if our desires, if our actions are independent of the Lord's desires, that means we are not, whatever, this principle of Atma Nikshepa is not there. So this is the thing, Atma Nikshepa. And finally, Karpanye. A devotee is meek and humble. A devotee is not arrogant. A devotee is not very harsh in his speech. A devotee is not non-submissive. He is not proud, but he is meek and humble. This is one of the principles of surrender. So these are the 6 things. Shadvidha Sharanagatihi. So when this practice we make as a sadhaka, then automatically, see the points mentioned in today's verse, Sattada eva atmana atmanam Nissangam Samadarshanam. So Samadarshanam here, equipoised in his vision, all of these things. When will a devotee become equipoised in his vision? Heya Upadeya Rahitam. Heya means is something abominable, rejected. Upadeya is something very good, accepted. Rahitam, good, bad. He has transcended that platform. And then Arudam Padamikshate, being he feels himself elevated to the transcendental platform of being equal in qualities with the Supreme Lord. So all of these things can happen when he becomes a pure devotee. And who is a pure devotee? Who surrenders to the Supreme Lord 100% without any reservation. So then, as Prabhupada mentions in the purport, for the service of the Lord, he can accept anything even though it may be disagreeable to his personal interest. For my personal interest, I am finding it disagreeable. But the Lord wants it? Yes, agreeable. I agree. And then, in fact, he is completely free from personal interest. Yes, this is what we saw, Atma Nikshepa. He doesn't have his own desires, his own set of actions or something independent of the Lord. All of his interests are the interest of the Supreme Lord. It is not independent. It is not something different from the interest of the Supreme Lord. And thus, anything agreeable to the Lord is agreeable to the devotee. So all of these things can happen only when we completely surrender to the Supreme Lord. And that surrender should be in line with the principles given here in the Hari Bhakti Vilasa. Then it will be called as, yes, 100% or 100% surrender. Otherwise, as sadhakas, lot of shortcomings will be there, lot of mistakes we may do due to our past conditioned nature. It is not so easy. We have our own set of independent interests, independent desires, independent way of thinking, working, and all of these things. Slowly, gradually, through all the practices of sadhana, we should see to it that all of our interests, all of our desires, all of our actions are in line with the interest or with the desire of the Supreme Lord. that will constitute full surrender. Very nicely, the same 6 principles of surrender are nicely explained by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has written a book, like say it's a set of songs which he has composed based on each of these principles of surrender which we discussed. Giving in whatever lengthy details, just like one point we take up Rakshati Iti Vishwasa, Krishna is the protector. Very beautifully each of these points are brought out, and nice songs Bhakti Vinod Thakur has composed. And as an introductory verse, he has written this song, this Sharanagati. It is an introductory song, wherein all these 6 principles in a very beautiful way Bhakti Vinod Thakur has explained. The song goes like this. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Doya Kori Swaparshada Sviya Dhama Saha Avatari. Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most magnanimous incarnation. Out of compassion towards the fallen living entities in the material world, he has come here, he has taken incarnation. Has he come alone? No. Swaparshada Sviyadhama Saha. He has come along with his associates, he has come along with his own Dhama, the supreme abode. The Lord has incarnated in this temporary material world. For what purpose? Jive Doya Kori. Feeling compassion towards fallen conditioned souls for their upliftment. Then, Atyanta Durlabha Prema Koribare Dana Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana. This, now with compassion he has come to this material world, taking incarnation. And what is he coming and giving? He is offering to those living entities Atyanta Durlabha Prema, love of Godhead, which is so rarely obtained. It is Durlabha, it is not easily obtained. Great Jnanis, Yogis, Tapasvis, they are unable to get this Krishna Prema, love towards Godhead. And such Durlabha Prema, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kori Bhare Dan, freely he is distributing. Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Pran. And how is he distributing? By explaining to them this principle of Sharanagati. Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Pran. And this Sharanagati is Bhakatera Pran, the life of devotees. The translation goes like this. In order to freely distribute the gift of ecstatic love of God, which is very difficult to obtain, he taught the path of Sharanagati, devotional surrender to the Supreme Lord. This Sharanagati is the very life of the true devotees. So this is the life of a devotee, this Sharanagati or surrender to the Supreme Lord. And by teaching devotees this Sharanagati, Lord Chaitanya is distributing love of Godhead, Krishna Prema, which is Atyanta Durlabha, which is rarely achieved. And what is this Sharanagati? In the next 4 lines, he explains, Dainya Atma Nivedana Gopratve Varan Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana. So same, that 6 principles. First he says Dainya. Dainya means humility or Karpanya. We have heard same thing, Dainya. Then Atma Nivedana or Atma Nikshepa, same thing, Dainya, Atma Nivedana. Gopratve Varan, So same, Gopratve Varana, 3 things. Then Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishvasa Palana. Krishna will surely protect me. Vishvasa Palana. Rakshati, Rakshishyati iti Vishvasaha. And then Bhakti Anukula Matra Karyera Svikar. Anukulyasya Sankalpaha. Bhakti Anukula Matra Karyera Svikar. This is Anukulakar. This is favorable for my practice of devotional service. Svikar. Accept it. Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Varjanangikar. Something is unfavorable, not good for my practice of devotional service to Krishna. Varjana, Varjanangikar, reject it. So, like this, Shadanga Sharanagati Hoibe Jahar Tahara Prarthana Shune Sri Nanda Kumar. So, wherever Shadanga Sharanagati is there, Sri Nanda Kumara, the youthful son of Maharaja Nanda, hears the prayers of anyone who takes refuge in him by this 6-fold practice of surrender. So just before this we were discussing the cases of Draupadi, Gajendra, Prahalada, how all of these great devotees offered prayers to the Lord, requested help from the Supreme Lord, and immediately the Lord was ready for their help. But some we devotees, we pray to the Lord, oh, where the Lord is not coming for my help, so much trouble I've been put into, I've been praying to the Lord, there is no help coming. We may argue like this. But, so we should check for ourselves, have we done this Shadanga Sharanagati? Have we surrendered to the Supreme Lord with all these 6 principles intact? If at all, if the answer is yes, then here Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the son of Nanda Maharaja hears the prayers of anyone who takes refuge in him by this 6-fold practice of surrender. So if at all we want Krishna to hear our prayers, to hear our request for help, then we need to focus on this. Am I a surrendered devotee? Have I surrendered applying these 6 principles? Do I have any separate interest from that of the Supreme Lord? Are my actions in line with the interest, with the desire of the Supreme Lord? So, when we apply these principles and then offer prayers to the Supreme Lord, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is assuring us, yes, Krishna will surely hear the prayers of anyone who takes refuge in him by this 6-fold practice of surrender. And finally, Bhaktivinoda Thakur concludes how? Keeping Rupa Sanatana Pade Dantatrina Kori Bhakata Vinoda Pode Duhun Padadhuri. Having a blade of grass in my mouth, I fall at the feet of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and request from them to help me surrender. And what is the specific prayer? Kandiya Kandiya Bole Amito Adhama Shikhaya Sharanagati Korohe Uttama. Crying, Kandiya, Kandiya, I express myself to them that now I am Adhama. Shikhaya Sharanagati Korohe Uttama. Please teach me how to surrender and make me Uttama. So if we are not surrendered means we are Adhama. We are acting independently. We have our own set of actions and our interests are separate from the Supreme Lord means we are still Adhama. And by practice of this Sharanagati principles, through all of these, then we become Uttama. So we'll conclude with this. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की।